Hello and welcome to Math 151, Section 91, Calculus for Business and Social Sciences. My name is Matt Lathrop. I will be your instructor for this semester. I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce myself and walk a little bit through the syllabus and some of the other foundational pieces of the course just to get us started off. First of all, what we're looking at here is sort of the landing page for the course. Every time you log in, you're going to see this information, and there are a couple of things that I would encourage you to check every time you log in. The first would be to see if there are any new announcements that have been posted. If this announcement drop-down is hidden, we can just click on that arrow to see the information here. And there's a little bit more to this post, but we have an introductory announcement already posted. And just to highlight it here, it's telling us that our first batch of assignments for Module 1 are all going to be due Wednesday, January 22nd at the end of the day. Another good piece of information to look at every time you log in is the overall score. So this is going to be a live number that's calculated and updated every time you submit an assignment, every time an exam gets graded. So that's always going to give you an accurate and up-to-date picture of where you stand in the course so far. The Start Here page, which is where you found this video, is going to provide some other important information for you. A video on how to navigate the course, how to check your progress and get help, as well as the campus safety video. But for now, what we want to do is focus on going over some of the information in the course syllabus. We're not going to talk about everything contained in this document, but we want to hit some of the highlights just to make sure you're aware. And then I would encourage you to go back and read through it all just so you're aware of the expectations of the course. Starting off, it includes my contact information. Email is probably going to be the best method for you to get a hold of me since we're not meeting face-to-face. You're certainly welcome to call my office as well, but if I'm in a meeting in another class, it just might be hard for us to touch base. I do try to get back to emails within 24 hours, but it can take a little bit longer over the weekend. But I definitely want to get back to you as quick as possible to make sure we can get you over whatever problem you're encountering and you can keep working. The other option for you is to actually come into campus and stop in during my office hours, which I would also encourage you to do. In terms of required materials, there are a few things that you need to purchase. The first is online access to MyLabs Plus. There are two ways to get an access code for this site. The first one is to buy it from the Heartland bookstore. That's the more expensive option. The other option is when you access your first assignment, you'll be prompted to enter or purchase that access code. And that method, if you purchase it through the website, will just be a little bit cheaper for you. You'll also need a graphing calculator, either a TI-83 or 84. If you have some other model, there's some other ones floating around out there, feel free to ask me about it. But TI-89s are a little bit too powerful. They have too many features, so those aren't going to be allowed in this course. You're also going to need online access to Wolfram Alpha. This is a free website, so nothing you need to purchase, but just to be aware, we're going to be using another external site, which is accessible from any internet-capable device. In terms of optional materials, you're more than welcome to buy a physical copy of the textbook, but only if you would prefer to have a physical book to read rather than reading information on a computer screen. Your access to MyLabs Plus includes access to an electronic copy of the textbook, so this is really just there if you want to have that physical book. If you are looking at doing that, I would actually encourage you to see if you can track down the 12th edition. The information will be nearly identical, but you'll also save yourself a lot of money that way. You may also want to invest in just a basic or scientific calculator of any type. The graphing calculators that we mentioned aren't going to be allowed on the theory portion of the exams in this course. They will be allowed on a second portion, but for the theory portion, you'll only be able to use a basic or scientific calculator. But the testing centers will have calculators they can loan you, so it's just a matter of how familiar you feel you need to be with the calculator you're going to use in those cases. In terms of technology, this is going to be a very technology-heavy course. Almost all assignments are going to be completed through MyLabs Plus. In addition, we'll be making use of Wolfram Alpha about a third of the time for our content to investigate some of the applications of business calc. So something to keep in mind is that lack of access to or malfunctioning technology may not be considered an acceptable excuse for late submissions. That means you want to start working on backup plans ahead of time. If your personal computer were to start giving you problems, if your home internet connection goes out, where are you going to go, or what machine are you going to work on as a backup to make sure you can still get those assignments completed in time. Attendance and participation are required in this course while we're not meeting face-to-face. Those are going to consist of completing assignments online, completing reading assignments, and participating in our discussions. We won't have discussions every week, but when we do, I'm going to be asking you to provide some feedback on the course, interact with each other, provide some tips on test-taking strategies, study skills, a little bit of what's working well for you this semester, or what's worked well in past classes that could help you or others continue to be successful this semester. So look out for those discussions when they pop up. We definitely have one for week 1 that you'll want to get working on. This course does have a drop policy. Anyone who hasn't logged in and completed at least one assignment prior to the drop date will be dropped. If you're logging in and taking care of all the week 1 assignments, the module 1 assignments, that won't be an issue for you. Similarly with the midterm withdrawal policy, if you're accessing the course and completing assignments from week to week, this is nothing you'll have to worry about. But if any of these conditions do apply to you at midterm, which basically translate into folks who aren't logging in and working at the material, you could be withdrawn from this course at midterm. Homework will be completed online. All assignments in this course are going to run from Tuesday to Tuesday. So actually our first batch of assignments will open on a Monday, the first day of the semester, and be due the Tuesday the week after. And then from then on we'll be running Tuesday to Tuesday. So homework assignments will have a set due date. If you miss that due date, you can still complete homework late for up to 90% credit, which means that you should be able to complete every homework assignment in this course with a 90% or better, with at least a 90%, if you're willing to put in the time and effort. Quizzes are a little bit different. They're still completed online through MyLabs Plus, but there is a firm due date for those. There's no opportunity to submit those late. So you need to make sure quizzes are getting submitted by the due date, but you do have the opportunity to unlock additional attempts at a quiz. If you earn 95% or better on all of the related homework assignments, you'll open up that second attempt. But there's also going to be practice quizzes to help you review and prepare and practice to get a better score on those. All of our exams in this class will be broken into 2 portions. There are going to be 3 regular exams and a final, each of which will consist of a theory portion. So that will be a traditional paper, pencil math test, what you've most likely seen in other courses. And then there's also going to be an applications test, which will be completed through MyLabs Plus and will allow you to use Wolfram Alpha to generate results. So that portion of the exam is going to focus much more on interpreting results and applying them in business contexts, while the theory portion is going to focus much more on your ability to apply the concepts of the course to solve problems like you would in a typical course. Keep in mind that graphing calculators won't be allowed on the theory portion, but will be allowed on that applications portion, along with your ability to use Wolfram Alpha. All tests do need to be taken in one of Heartland's testing centers. And you'll also have the opportunity to improve a low score with your percentage on the final. So your percentage on the theory final and the applications final can replace a lower exam score if one of those previous exams just didn't go as well as you would have liked. We've got the exam dates, grading structure, and grading scale available for you. The exam dates, exams are still going to run Tuesday to Tuesday, just like all of our other assignments, meaning you'll have just over a week. And during those weeks, we won't be introducing any new material. Those weeks will be devoted for you to review and prepare for each portion of the exam and find time during that week to come in and complete them. There is a grading breakdown here, including the different weights between those theory and application exams. So the theory exams make up a slightly larger portion of your overall score than the applications exams. And then your homework and discussions and then quizzes each making up 10%. In terms of the FERPA statement, this is just stating that in order to ensure that I'm not communicating your information to anyone besides you, I need you to contact me electronically, either through your Heartland email account or via MyLabs Plus, so I can verify your identity. And then the last thing we've got here is our Spring 2020 weekly schedule. What we're going to see is a pattern of 3 weeks of new content, which will be 2 weeks of theory content, so sort of traditional math concepts being introduced, and then a week where we spend focused on those application topics and using Wolfram Alpha. Then we'll hit an exam where we basically test over those different concepts. And again, that pattern being repeated with those assignments running Tuesday to Tuesday. Final exam then will be due Wednesday, May 13th during finals week. So this was a quick overview of the syllabus, but if you have questions, I would encourage you to reach out and contact me, spend some time to look through the syllabus, some of the information that we skipped over, and make sure you're aware of those different policies. But I'm hoping that this ends up being a successful semester for all of you, and good luck.